If you're wondering where is Team Chaos Stream, or should I say Dunk is, I'm Elriser from Team NDL, and I'm going to do a guest upload on his channel. And I decided to go with today very, very lovely pets, or should I say stuffed pets, and horrible Five Nights at Freddy reference, Fluffals. This is a really cool deck. I think overall it's just really got nice support from the OCG, which is what I'm going to go with. As you can see, I have Cruel Well here, so I'm going to go with a little bit of the OCG support. Pretty much a basic build, so you guys could expect what you can play with, and then just play with the ratios what you think. There are going to be more proxies than the OCG cards because quarantine, and I wasn't able to get the orders that I wanted to get before even the quarantine and before we even got these supportive cards, so please understand that in advance that I didn't really want to proxy, but I still want to give you guys this profile, so yeah, hope you will forgive me on that one. Another thing is, I did play with this deck a lot, and I'm just going to say in advance, it's not broken or anything. It's very powerful, the ceiling rose very, very much high, but the deck still struggled with some particular hands and some particular plays. I did test with some particular play styles with, like, you know, for Lithium play style, other bigger, more YouTubers, but I did come up with this one to be the more basic one, and I hope you guys enjoy and understand. And without further ado, let's jump right into the deck. So starting things off with the OCG list, we're going to start off with the 3 copies of Dog. Dog is just really nice. It's Searcher, but only if you normal special summon him from hand, and only for Edge Imp Sabers and Fluffals, not any other Edge Imp. So do keep that in mind. It does search for a form of monsters, but if you special summon him from the graveyard, it just doesn't do anything. So do keep that in mind. Still a very, very useful card, but it does kind of losing its capabilities more and more time on. Then we'll move on to our mini water fairy Fluffal monsters package. I do think that the water Fluffals are pretty much the best ones. Even the so-called octopus, which I don't run, but I do think it's still very, very powerful. All of the so-called waters have 2 particular effects. One, that they're on the field and they can activate once they're on the field, and one when they get fusion summoned and sent to the graveyard. So in particular, Fluffal Penguin effect, during the main phase you get to special summon another Fluffal monster from your hand, and then of course accept himself, and then if he's sent to the graveyard as fusion, you get, for Frightful of course, you get to draw 2 cards and discard 1 card, which is really, really cool. You're getting kind of like a Destiny draw kind of an effect, even a little bit better in that regard actually. Then we're moving on to the new card, 3 copies of Fluffal Dolphin. I'm still debating if 2 or 3 is the correct choice, because sometimes this card is dead, because sometimes I don't see the vendor, but for the most parts you want to have mostly 3 of them. I'm not really sure, sometimes I just want to have 2 and maybe have Octopus instead, just like I mentioned, but Dolphin is really good. If you have vendor in the grave, it just set it on the board, and then Foolish Burial of Fluffal monster, which is really nice. Secondly, if it's used for a fusion material, you're getting to pretty much shuffle from your banished or graveyard to your deck again a fusion or a polymerization spell from your graveyard, which is really nice. I like this card a lot. Again, not sure if like 3 is the correct choice with this guy, but overall just proved to be very, very nice. Then 3 copies of Bear. Bear is just either, you know, sent for toy vendor, or if you have to have it on the field, is just tribute him and get a polymerization. The secondary effect, not really that useful, but the first one is just really nice. You kind of need that, which is really, really important to have. Then 3 copies, proxies of Wings, which I kind of have to, but Wings is actually needed at 3 more than ever, because if you want to make Dolphin consistent, you have to have 3 Wings, and have the ability to just like pretty much pop your vendor, which I'm actually considering because of that to maybe even have Foolish Burial, because I don't really run the normal Foolish Burial on the deck, but I'm actually considering, because of Wings, to maybe have another one to kind of like have a 4th one, because if you don't got vendor in the grave with Foolish Burial goods and all that stuff, and then just like send Wings or whatever, it's kind of not going to 100% work. I'm just going to say that in advance, so please understand that. Then for the one-offs, 1 copy of Sheep, which is a card that I might consider bumping up to 2. I didn't really think that I need more than 1, but I still don't think I need more than 1, but I still think it's really, really cool. It's giving you the ability, if you control a Fluffal, to special summon, so it's really nice for link plays. And then you can banish a not banish, but bounce a Fluffal to summon an edge imp from your hand or grave. So most of the time you're going to bounce your dog to kind of like get it for recycling back, and then you just get to use them both for links. And if you have, like, for example, a chain in the grave and you use it for whatever or whatever you need, you ever get another monster back for fusion plays, or just you link away, get a search for example, chain or whatever, and just continue your plays as normally. Then one copy of Owl. Owl is just really good. Again, another card that I'm like actually consider maybe bumping, because sometimes I don't see polymerization enough. Regardless, it's also polymerization by himself. Not only searching polymerization, you could pay 500 and just use him as like some kind of like a fusion spell, and then you can fusion summon himself and another one to make a fusion monster, which is really cool. Most of the time you don't really want to waste the normal summon this one, so only one off. And then the lastly, one copy of Fluffal Cat. This one, just if you use it for a fusion material for a fusion monster, you get to target a polymerization in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Also really nice for chain blocking if you need to. So that's pretty much does it for the Fluffal monsters. You have 18 monsters, which are a big chunk of the monsters, but you do need them because of Toy Vendor, which we'll get to that. Now we'll move on to the Edge Imps. So first off, we'll have the best one, 3 copies of Chain. Chain, when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to search a Frightful Spirit on trap. You don't really care about the other effect, which is like if it's attacks or something, you get another Edge Imp Chain, because you don't really need that. You only care about the secondary effect, which is like a search, which is really, really cool and just help the deck quite a bit. And with a particular other card, which is Frightful Patchwork, it just really helps. I'm sorry if I also moved the camera for a second. Regardless, now we'll move on to the new card, Edge Imp Scythe. Again, a card that like I really wanted 3 because we don't really have a whole lot of Edge Imps, so it's a little bit more better in terms of like what it does than Dolphin. But I do still think that this one is not like super hype as people think it is. Sure, it does giving you a new playstyle of fusion summoning during your opponent's turn, especially your new fusion monster, which we'll get to that. And also protection in the graveyard, but like it does not do anything, regardless just being an Edge Imp. It's really important still, but if we'll get ever another good Edge Imp, I'm not really sure about this one staying in 3. We'll see. Then we'll have the last one, which is Edge Imp Sabers. You still need this one at 1 because there are some particular cards that use this material. There are also another Edge Imp that I thought of maybe adding, which is Cotton Eater, but I decided that Cotton Eater is not that good. So that's pretty much does it for the monsters. 25, pretty big chunk of monsters. Now we'll move on to the spells. So first off, 3 copies of Toy Vendor. This card is pretty much discard a card, draw a card, and if it's a Fluffal, you get to special summon a Fluffal from your hand. Otherwise, discard from the graveyard, which is really nice. Or should I say, summon one monster from your hand. It doesn't really have the Fluffal, but you need to draw the Fluffal, which is pretty important. Then the other effect is, if this is sent to your graveyard, you get to add a Edge Imp Sabers or a Fluffal monster to your hand, which is really, really cool. And because of that, we also run 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods, because this card's effect is not a hard once per turn, which that's why this deck is really powerful. So with Wings, essentially, if you have this in the graveyard, it's really nice. Also, if you have Dolphin, Wings, or whatever, you kind of going off. And if you have Dolphin and this, or you have like whatever, another Fluffal and this, and then like you send this and search Dolphin and go off and then discard or whatever, you're just going off like crazy. I'm not going to say like going to over a broken board, because those are really, really specific hands, but just you're going to go off pretty hard if you're able to open up with Foolish Burial and just either Dolphin or another Fluffal monster, which is really, really nice. Then 3 copies of Super Polymerization, I mean normal polymerization, because this is a polymerization, not deck, so you do need the 3 polymerization. Then for your Frightful spells, you don't run any traps because the traps are not that great, but you do run 3 Patchworks, 1 Fusion, which is still pretty nice to have, 1 of the new Repair, which is pretty cool as well. Patchworks, if I forgot to mention, is just so broken. You add an Edge Imp and a polymerization, which is really cool. And also kind of have application now with Dolphin, because Dolphin can shuffle a polymerization back, so if you already like search 2 and get a 3rd and like you want to shuffle back to then make this live, it's just possible. Repair, now which I'll get back to that, you shuffle a Frightful from your graveyard, fusion monster, and then you return to the extra deck, and then you get to special summon a Fluffal or a gym from your grave. And then the other effect, which I think is the better one, you get to banish this, and then special summon an Fluffal or a gym from your hand. So most of the time, if I see already Toy Vendor and I already Foolish Barrel and all that stuff, and I kind of not really need that to go off, I'm actually going to do this, Foolish Barrel this, because it does giving you the additional special summon that sometimes you need. It's kind of serve as the same as the Spiral so-called mission card, so I really like this one as a one-off. It just, you only can use one effect per turn, but it just really helps sometimes, because sometimes you want to have your dog special summoned, or your dolphin, because you weren't able to special summon twice. So it's really nice and flexible in that regard. And then lastly, one Frightful Factory. I love this card. It's giving you another so-called fusion, and then if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to recycle this to your hand, which is really nice, but it just helps you banish some of your so-called fusion spells. I am kind of like debating this in another sheep or maybe an octopus, but for the time being, I just really like the Frightful Factory. We'll see, maybe I'll even add a different Frightful spell or trap. We'll see about that. For the time being, it's proved to be really nice. As for your extra deck, because we're done with the main deck, we'll start off with your big new fusion, 2 copies of Cruel. Cruel is just really an interesting one. It's giving you, when it's fusion summoned, the ability to destroy 2 cards, so it's kind of like a break sword effect. You destroy 1 card for you and 1 for your opponent. Most of the time you're going to destroy a Toy Vendor to search. And then also it has another really nice effect, which is like, you send a Frightful from your extra deck or deck to the graveyard, a Frightful card, and then you get to pretty much target a fusion, a Frightful fusion, and then pretty much give it half its original attack until the end of the turn, which is a nice quick effect. Kind of could protect you from some particular OTKs if you're going first. But yeah, this one is really nice utility going first and second with Scythe. Mostly you're just going to use this going first or just making your calamities, because this is a level 9. Then Sabertooth, which is the one that I wasn't really able to get. Sabertooth is just really powerful. We all know what Sabertooth does. It just pretty much, you fusion, you just get your fusion back. It's really simple as that. And also boosting your monsters. Then 2 Kraken. 2 Kraken is just proved to be really nice. It's just really helpful. You have the ability to send a monster. You still target, but you send the monster to the graveyard, and also have kind of a nice protection effect. It's a level 8, so it's also work with Sabertooth to bring out Hope Harbinger or any rank 8s that you wish, so that's also nice in that regard. Then we have 1 copy of Tiger. Tiger is just here if you want to use your Imp Sabers with him, and you just pop the entire board if you have to. Not the best in the world still, because I wish that Scythe was also considered as the Gym Sabers, but yeah, it's just still very nice. And then lastly, you have 1 copy of Wolf, because Wolf is just another kind of OTK, and if you have, for example, Tiger and Sabertooth, you get the ability to just pretty much boost him enough to probably much get over everything and just kill everything. Then for your Xyz, you're on 1 Titanic Galaxy and 1 King of All Calamities. These are your 2 Xyz that just help you with your level 8s and your level 9 Cruel. You kind of want to have those here and there. 1 Abyss Dweller, because you could make this pretty easily and also have it with the water material. Speaking of water, we also run 1 Bahamut Shark, and totally awesome. These 2 are just really nice to have, giving you another really more easier, I think, than King of All Calamities Interruption. You are more easier to bring 2 level 4s waters onto the board. You don't all the time want to do that, so that's why it's like kind of like optional, so you have like 3 particular negates that you can go into. But like, I think overall this is a little more easier. Also, it can recycle for you your fusions, which is really cool. Then 1 versus Anaconda. Again, I had to proxy this one, but it's really cool in terms of like giving you fusion plays. And then 1 copy of Cross Sheep, because Cross Sheep is absolutely ridiculous in this deck. I don't think it's that great everywhere, but like everybody thinks. But in this particular deck, it's just giving you the ability to just go into your Bahamut Shark or just finish your fusion spells. It's just really nice to have. So that pretty much does it for the deck profile. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I don't really going to make any test hands or combos here because test hands is just something that take way too much time, and combos, Fluffals are a little bit of a deck that kind of depends on your luck of the draw. You could do some particular combos, but they're not really going to work that easily, so I'm just going to say that in advance. So please do understand, but hope you guys have enjoyed regardless on the first look of the OCG. Please consider like and subscribe for a Team Chaos stream if you enjoy the content, as well as maybe even going to my channel and give it a like and sub on some of the videos. Also give a little bit more of a look-see for the Coalition of Scrubs, and I will catch you all later. Bye bye.